Of the many nations and communities that compete in the video game championships, few have as rich and prosperous a history as Italy. Join us as we take a look through the years at the players who have made this nation such a force to be reckoned with. Our journey starts in the early days of VGC in 2011, when the World Championships each year had been dominated by Japanese and US trainers. Europe had only a few real contenders to these nations and relied on a select few to carry the torch. Fortunately, they didn't have to do so alone. Two Italian players in particular would make a big impact in this early stage of VGC. Francesco Pardini and Matteo Ghini, who met in the finals of Italian Nationals, with Francesco taking the title and both qualifying for a coveted travel award to play at Worlds. Both Francesco and Matteo made it to the top 8 knockout rounds of the World Championships, with Matteo taking it all the way to the finals, only to be narrowly beaten by 2010 World Champion Ray Rizzo. While Matteo didn't become the World Champion, it was the closest that any player in Europe had managed to get so far. That is, until 2013. The wider VGC community, and especially that of Italy, had grown significantly over the next couple of years with more events and the new championship point structure introduced in Europe. Enter the House of Ghini, where Matteo would make a return alongside his brother Alberto to take the circuit by storm. Alberto, already an accomplished player in the local community, made waves by taking the title of German national champion, and only a couple of months later Matteo followed suit, winning Italian nationals with an identical reign team. But another player was waiting in the wings to enter our Hall of Fame. Arash Amati, whose Cinderella story began way back in 2013. He had a good showing at the European Nationals, enough to gain an invitation to play, but not quite enough to gain a coveted travel award to the World Championships. That wasn't going to stop him. He went on to make it to the top 8 of the World Championships in Vancouver, and went on to do something even more incredible. In an expertly played set, Arash defeated Ryosuke to become the first Italian World Champion, and the only European World Champion to this day. A truly remarkable achievement that cemented Arash's place in the history books of Pokemon VGC. In 2014, the VGC was shaken up with the introduction of locals and regionals. These new events allowed more players from across the world to participate in the competitive scene, and the competition was fierce. But one player stood above the rest. Francesco Pardini, the former Italian national champion, returned in 2015 with a vengeance, winning the Italian national championships in a dominant fashion. He became one of only few players to win the same tournament in multiple years. Francesco wasn't the only Italian player to make waves in 2015. Arash continued his consistent performance with a finals placement in UK Nationals, and went on to win the German National Championships in 2016. Along with Matteo and Alberto, these 4 players were instrumental to the early days of Italian VGC. Their success inspired the next generation of Italian players to get involved in the community, and the scene has been growing ever since. Today, Italy is one of the most competitive VGC communities in the world, with players regularly dominating international events. Thanks to the efforts of Francesco, Arash, Matteo and Alberto, who laid the foundations for the many players yet to come, the Italian VGC community is thriving to this day.